Hi folks, in this video I want to move on from exporting things from Photoshop and start getting it into Unity and layering plus scene. So by the end of the last video you should have a folder called Assets somewhere on your desktop or on your PC, full of your background images, full of anything that you want to import into your game, whether that be props or pickup items, objects, platforms, buildings, whatever you need for your scene. You should have a folder of that now. Now what I want you to do is to open up Unity and we're going to create a new project. Now you want to make sure that this project is somewhere that you know that you can find, because you need to upload this to Google Drive or your shared area at the end of the session. So I'm going to set the desktop and I'm going to call this example tutorial game, but you need to call it, I would put your name on there so you can find it, and I'd put the name of your game. Now really important that you do 2D, and for now that's all we need to do. So if you just create project, and it will take a little bit of time, but what it's going to do is create a new folder wherever you saved it. And that folder is so important you don't lose it. I've seen so many students lose that folder and they have all sorts of problems later on. So you can see here, this is my game basically. This is the folder that got created, example tutorial game. You need to make sure that you never lose where that is, because all of your assets are going to go in there, all of your scripts, all of your scenes, everything's going to live in there in subfolders. And if you don't have that, if you just open up Unity and open up a scene, and you rely on that and you lose track of where this is, you're gonna run into loads of problems and have lots of tears. Now believe me, I've seen it before, so make sure that you are saving it properly. Okay, so let's save the scene, and we need to see it's going to save it in an assets folder, so we'll call this scene example level. So scenes are like levels basically. So your project is your game, your scenes are your levels. Okay, so the way Unity works, you have different areas that you look at. You've got, if I just click on the main camera at the minute, because all we've got is a camera, you have all of the different things that are going to be in your level down here. So whether that's a camera, whether that's a controller for a player, whether that's assets or lights or whatever it might be that you're going to have in your level, that lives in this bit called the hierarchy window. You've got a folder section at the bottom here, so this is your project folder, and these are the folders within it. So at the minute we've just got one folder called assets, and this is, at the minute, all we've got in there is the scene itself. So that's a scene, that's a level. So we're going to have lots of folders in here with different artwork and whatever we need for our game, and then we can drag it into here or into here and start using it. The main bit here is the viewport, so we can have a look at the scene. So when we're building our scene, we can start dragging things in and moving it and placing things as we want. We can preview it with the game. Obviously it's looking very sparse at the minute, we don't have anything in there. Or we can go to the asset store and start downloading things. There's other things that you might want to add to here. I've added an animator. This is going to be important when we start animating our assets, and I'll show you how to add things in a second. And then finally on the right hand side you've got the inspector. Now whatever you've got selected is going to give you loads of different options, loads of different things that you can add and change and manipulate depending on what you've got selected. You can add components, add things and do all sorts of stuff. So don't be fazed by the complexity of this. We can start breaking it down with some simple things and you'll see how this works. My one piece of advice with Unity is that you make sure you label everything properly, name everything, or else things get messy quickly. Games have hundreds of assets in, and if you don't keep track of that, you're going to run into problems. Okay, so let's get, if you've not got animator here, to add that, what you need to do is window, and then pick animator, and if it's not there and it's just sort of floating about, you need to drag it and place it here. So that means that we can quickly jump to that. So we should have 4 things along the top now. And you see on the bottom, I've got animation as well. So again, you need to do window, animation, and again, if it's nowhere to be seen, it's just floating like this, just drag it onto the bottom. So you'll start to pick things and set this up as you want, but I would say this is a good place to start. As long as you've got animator, asset store, game and scene, and project, console and animation at the bottom, you're good to go. Okay, so next video I'll start looking at moving around the scene, controls, and start dragging some things in and playing about.